How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the WTS podcast, Wetz Talk Sports podcast, hosted by myself, Wetz, commonly known as Mike. Joined always on the call with my good buddy Richie. How's it going, man?
What's up, Mike? What's good?
Not much, brother. Good to have you. Good to see you. And today we're joined by a very special guest. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us some of your time. Schmidt Marseille, aka Peak. Licensed coach, sports fanatic. You could check out some of his sports articles if you're a soccer fan. If you at teaserbull.com. Is that what it is, Richie?
Yes.
Yeah.
And soon enough, like we'll be talking basketball on it too. Soon enough.
Oh, okay. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right. So Peak, man. Without further ado, man. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Giving us some of your time, man. Let us know a little bit about yourself, man. What's up?
I mean, anytime, man. Like I grew up watching sports. I mean, that's what I do, to be honest with you. Football, like all 5 leagues, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Football is my thing too. Like football, like kind of like after like the Cowboys been so bad, I kind of like lost interest.
And in American football?
Yeah, I watch a lot, but like my team sucks, so. Had for years, so it is what it is. But other than that, football is my thing. I'm a huge Man United and Barcelona fan.
Gang.
Yeah, gang. Basketball, man. Like like me and Richie, like we're on the same side. Like we ride for the Knicks. What's up, dude? Other than that, man, like I'm just here, man. Like I'm trying to get like more coaches license. Like I also coach football, soccer, like however you want to call it. And I also work for the New England Revolution, which is like an MLS franchise.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, so
that's what's up. Hopefully, we can have you back on in the future to talk a little bit about
anytime, man. Like I'm always on Sundays. Like if you guys are recording on Sundays, man, I'm going to be available.
That's what's up, man. Thank you. All right, so Richie, man, why don't you break down the what we're going to be discussing for us today, man?
Yeah, so today, mostly what we're going to discuss is 2 topics. It will be special topics about Marco Verratti and his like progression and his growth throughout the years, and then the second one is a possible transfer, if it's gonna go through or not. It hasn't been agreed on yet. It's Pjanic from Juventus, possibly might go to Barcelona, but we'll get more news into that. But before we go and start with the Marco Verratti topic, Smeed, we wanted to ask you, in terms of your personal aspect, how would you rank the European leagues, not financially, but in terms of quality wise?
Actually, like that's a hill that I'm willing to die on, because like whenever like I'm watching the league, like I watch a few things. First is tactics, second is the quality of the game, third is techniques, and how like the teams playing and how the teams are transitioning, like defense, offense, their schemes. So like when I take all that into consideration, like to me, like it's really hard to argue that there's a league that's better than the Spanish league, La Liga.
Okay.
In La Liga, like, you have 18 teams that actually plays that are very fun to watch. I mean, like all of them basically. Like we only have like 2 teams in La Liga who actually they play ball. I'm not going to say like anti-football, but it's really like not what the Liga teams usually play. But like to me, I have La Liga first. Second, I have the Bundesliga, which is a league that I love a lot.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, that's all
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Third, I have the EPL. Fourth, I have the Calcio Serie A, and then last, I have French League.
Performance League?
Yeah, Performance League. The Uber Eats League. Everybody eats in that league.
Uber Eats League. That's an interesting one. Like I was waiting for you to probably say the EPL second or Calcio, but right. Bundesliga, why second?
Bundesliga?
Yeah.
You ever sat down and watch a Bundesliga game, bro?
I usually watch it, but I'm not gonna lie. Most of the leagues I watch is mostly like La Liga, Premier League, French League. I usually watch the French League more than the
thing with the Bundesliga is the quality of the game, man. Like those players are so techniques. Like the coaches are so good, like tactically, and it's just fun to watch. Like if you take away Bayern, like the other 17 teams, like they're all entertaining. They play good football. The only thing is, I don't know if they're like too. I don't know if they base that. I don't think. I don't know how to say it, but defensively, like especially this season, we don't have like one good defensive team in the Bundesliga.
Yeah. So
I don't know if it's because like the coach put too much emphasis on offense, or I don't know if they are just bad defensively. But defensively, it's not fun. Like if you want to watch like a defensive masterclass, go and watch the Calcio. But if you're entertaining football, Bundesliga is up there, and you can even see that like in the Bundesliga is up and running again. Like last week, like the first game was a Schalke versus Dortmund. And you guys can see like the quality of the game compared to the EPL. They are so much better in advance. Like I have to put them second, man.
Yeah, in terms of technique, I think even La Liga, Bundesliga, even you can even say Calcio is better than Premier League in terms of technique.
You know what? The Calcio, like tactically, I think they are the most advanced league because those coaches, like every game is a freaking masterclass. It's a battle. It's a duel. Like you have like you cannot name like one top coach who hasn't been influenced by a coach in the culture. Like you will never find it. As a matter of fact, like all the tactics we have, like all the formations, like back three, wing back, they are all come from the culture. But then again, like I think the first goal of an Italian team is not to concede. Whereas like we have like in the EPL and La Liga, like, they're trying to score first. But in the Calcio, it's like it's okay to clean sheet first, then we get the W.
Fair point. I mean, to me, I would say, like it was interesting to hear the Bundesliga for you as being second as well, because I've been trying to tell Richie, like it's not trying to tell Richie, but we had the discussion earlier on about like why I kind of rank the Bundesliga over the French league. Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's the EPL, then it's Spain, then it's the Calcio. Then fourth, I have the Bundesliga, and fifth, I have the French league.
But I think Schmidt had a question before.
Why do you think the EPL is better than La Liga?
Just in terms of like, because of like their top six teams. Like even though like it's kind of receded the last couple of years, like in terms of like their success, but I just think their top six teams are just better than everybody else. Like when it comes to like playing in Europe. Like, they're competing at the highest level.
You want to hear something? Like, in the last 23 or 24 times that we had an EPL versus La Liga battle in Europe, you know how many times like the EPL has won a game, like a tie?
Let me know.
It's about 6 or 7 times. And I'm not talking about just Barcelona or Real Madrid. Like
Sevilla.
Sevilla's been beating like those EPL teams. Valencia did it. Atletico Madrid been doing it. We have like a lot of low class. I'm not talking about low class league teams, but low income league teams, like teams that are not doing so well financially. Going against like the top EPL teams, and they still hold their own. So like you have to think of that. You have to actually put that into consideration.
That's a fair point too. And the other thing that I try to consider is like how competitive their championship is as well. Like their top six teams are always like, it's always a little bit tight at for the top six for them, like competing for that top spot.
You want why? Like the best players that you have in your team, like it's the better it is for you. In the EPL, like all those teams are pretty much equal, like in terms of talent.
Yeah.
That's why like it is so tough and so competitive. Like when you go in La Liga, we have the top 2 teams.
Exactly.
Atletico Madrid, like who's been trying, like credit to them. And then the other thing, like they cannot compete financially with those monsters. So, but when in terms of quality of play, in terms of football, you put Sevilla, who was like a 4th or 5th team. I bet they went against Liverpool, who actually finished second, and they killed them in the final.
But would you say like a team like Tottenham and Everton could compete financially with the four behemoths of the not I don't even think until Abramovich came to Chelsea. Until Abramovich came to Chelsea, Chelsea really wasn't a they weren't a financial powerhouse.
Now they can compete financially with those teams. I mean, with most of the teams, because Liverpool is not that rich, But the thing with the APL is that they have this financial security that they have with the TV deal and all that. Like they bank in a lot, because when you look at it, like I think only Real Madrid and Barcelona make more money than the team was actually finishing 20th in the EPL.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take that into consideration. But what the EPL teams fail to do, they've been doing a bad job at recording, like the signings. I mean, anybody who actually scores like 2 or 3 goals like in the French league or anything else, like they put 50 or 60 million pounds on it. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, Rich, what you got to say about that, man?
About like the French guys?
No.
I mean,
how the EPL teams like do business.
No, like
even
about
saying
this.
That, even I'm not sure if you saw when I was saying that. I'm not sure how you guys feel about him. I don't think Arsenal should have caught Nicolas Pepe.
I mean, you know what's funny about that? Like I remember like doing those discussions and negotiations. I watched Pepe in the French league. I'm like, dude had 14 goals and 7 of them were penalty kicks. And like like when you go on Twitter, like football Twitter especially, all they need is just one highlight of a guy and a couple of assists, and
that's it.
And that's the next best thing. But when you watch the game, okay, he is an electric player. Like he is fast, he can dribble. But when you're talking about goals plus assists, like productivity, like out wide, all of like half of his goals like came from a spot kick. So
I mean, scouting has gotten lazy over the last couple.
And
of
also I feel like every time he gets the ball, he breaks the momentum. He's like a slow ass player, and Arsenal is like, I'm not saying like they're a counter-attack team. They usually build a lot, but the way like I've seen him playing Arsenal, everything is pushing, and he gets the ball, he slows down everything, and I hate that about him.
He's trying to do his thing, man. Like he's trying to do his thing.
That's not gonna work. He can't be out soon then.
I think he is a good player, but I don't think he's like an $80 million pound player.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And that's the difference between the EPL teams and the Liga teams. Because like when you watch the team at Real Madrid, like ever since like they had that crazy summer in 2009, like who has been the most paid transfer? It's probably Isco.
Probably.
At 40 mil. I mean, I'm not gonna take like the last summer because like they had to do and spend a lot. But when you think about like the players that they had for the money that they had them, and you compare them to a team like, let's say like Man City, they went out and then they spent 75 million on Mahrez, and he's been on the bench ever since. And you think
like Pepe Pep just likes doing that though. He just likes going out there and buying players so that he doesn't have to compete against them, and he has.
Yeah. I mean that's nonsense. Like let's not get that's nonsense.
All right, guys, let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was gonna say like since we're talking about money, let me get inside that topic. So like I was talking to Schmidt, we're gonna talk about Verratti, a quality player when he left his team to come to PSG. I need to find the team again. But so this is what he said. He said PSG have become one of the 7 of 8 best teams in the world. That is why there are so many players, some of which I don't know who wants to play for PSG. Some say play at PSG is for money, but it's not the case. If a player plays for money, he'll go to China. So he said, especially like most of the players, like Neymar specifically, like when you choose a PSG, it's also choosing a project, and that may one day win the Champions League. And this time it means more than just winning to a different team. And he also added that if he wanted to play elsewhere for more money, teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, they came after him for more money than what PSG was offering him. So that's why he didn't accept those offers, because he's choosing like the project of PSG. So if it's not for money, and what's up for you, for a player like Verratti, who could have been a new Pirlo? What's so appealing? What's so appealing about playing for PSG?
I mean, first of all, like, it's the city. You know, they have a chance to live in Paris. And second, it's the money. Like, he can say whatever like he wants to say about it, but it's the money. Because when you think about it, like, I did some research like before the show started. Out of the top 30 best paid player in the French league, 17 of them are playing for PSG.
That billionaire money.
Second, PSG is like a jail. It's a prison. Like, once you get in, you don't get out. And everybody knows this. Like, in the last, like, okay, the project started like in 2011 or 2010 or 2011, like when they got Pastore, they got Blessy and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's we all on like what, year 9, year 9 of it, right? What have they been doing besides winning the League One or La Ligue 1?
Not much. They've been losing all the time to the quarterfinals against Barcelona. They even lost against, they lost against Chelsea. No, they beat Chelsea that year.
I mean, they beat Chelsea, but they never get past the quarterfinals.
No.
So what they do, they go out and then they pay a lot of money for those players. Their wages are high. The bonuses are even higher than that. So a player like Verratti, like, he is a good player. Like, he is very good, and he is world class.
I can't say that.
He is world class. But
he's a world class player. Man.
Like, when you look at what he does on the field, he is world class. But could he have been better? Definitely. Did he stall? Yes. Like, he spent like the 2 years like not doing anything else. Like, his development like stopped at one time. It wasn't like until like last season like he played well, but this season he's been struggling. And I don't know if it's because of the two main midfield that he has just been trying to play, but he's been struggling this season. But
absolutely.
For him to say that if you want to play for money, then you go to China, that's utter nonsense. Because like I had a list of the wages of the players in okay. You know how much money he's making like a week?
I want to say about half.
Sorry, how much?
I would say about $500,000
a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or even a month. You know what his salary for a month is?
Nah. What is it?
Should be around like 1 million.
Yeah, it's more than that. It's actually a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
It's 1,002,000 euros like every week.
See? Yeah.
and he has the audacity saying that it's not about money.
Exactly. So what it is about then? So you just want to go in and win, like the League One is over by September every year.
Like
it's always a battle between Marseille or Lyon or in this case this year there's new teams like Stade Rennais and everything like that stepped out.
But then again, it's just they're like 20,000 points behind PSG.
Yeah.
And that's why I was, curious to know your take on, like, how you rank the leagues. Because to me, like, like, shout outs to Rich. Rich is my guy. There's some technical aspects that he likes about the French league, but I just think that league is just pure dog shit.
The thing is, Rich actually grew up watching League One, so like it's kind of personal to him. Like it's an emotional take.
To me, like this is why I like the French league. You sit down a Sunday or Saturday, whatever, you listen to Canal Plus, you listen to those French guys talking so much smack about their team, and then say a game like Marseille versus Lyon, Marseille versus Saint-Etienne versus Montpellier. Those games are not easy to win. And those are like classics.
Those derbies.
Which is talking like my dad. You know what? He grew up watching League One. Like he was watching like Mido and Drogba at OM at Marseille, and he was watching Juninho and Chris and Casapal. So to him, Bendao, like at Saint-Etienne and those guys. So that's why like he's talking like that. But if you're talking big 2020, like are you going to tell me that you're going to sit and watch Montpellier play Toulouse? And you're going to tell us, wow, this is like a really nice
that's
game.
And that's one of the reasons why I like I lost so much respect for a player like Neymar, and why, to go back to your point, I can't call a player like Verratti world class, because they're not competing against anybody. Like, okay, like when you go to Europe, like you can appreciate his talent, but again, you're leaving at like what, the quarterfinals, and you're not really proving anything. Like when you could have gotten the same amount of money for joining a better club in a better league, and you could have competed against world class players for a position, for a starting spot on a team that you would be joining.
I think
Well,
also
wait,
what
wait,
he.
wait,
Oh, you can go. Shmi.
wait, before we go ahead with this debate, like what are your criteria for a player to be named world class?
First, aside from your ability, like, you have to show it at the highest level to me. And a fifth tier league is not the highest level to me. So
But
if it's gonna,
if you're consistent in what you do, and then and you perform like week in and week out, and you've been doing it for seasons after season, like doesn't that make you world class?
against subpar teams, no.
I mean, have you seen what Verratti did against Barcelona like two seasons ago, like 2 or 3 seasons ago?
That's what, two. That's two legs. That's not enough for me.
But what I'm saying, like when you watch Verratti plays football, like whether it's for PSG, whether like it's in the League One, or in Europe, like, or whether it's for Italy, like
Mhm.
you see what he's doing. Like that kid, he rarely plays bad. Like he controls the tempo. Like he knows how to break plays. The only thing that he's is that discipline enough. Like he has like a lot of flash tackles that are unnecessary. But other than that, like the way that kid moves like in midfield, like the way that he finds space, the way that he reads the game, like there's not many guys out there who can do that.
Yeah, like to add on to what he's saying, that Schmid, just a few seconds, guys. You can go into the conversation. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, Rich. Um, yeah, I mean, like, well, it's just a personal opinion of mine, like, really. So, like, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, he performs week in and week out for his like when when he's playing for his national team, when he has to, compete for PSG, like, every weekend, or like every other weekend, especially in the Champions League. But to me, like, you have to prove it at the highest level.
I
And
mean, I don't think, to me, like you cannot penalize a guy for playing like in a bad league. You
no,
can,
I can. It was his choice.
yeah, you can penalize him for doing bad in the bad league, but like he's like you play who's in front of you.
Yeah, but it was his choice, though. That's the thing. That's why I'm
But
paying.
at the time he left Italy, at the time that he left Pescara, he was 17. Like he was following like his favorite coach.
And he's what? He's
Oh,
26 now.
Ancelotti.
Yeah,
But yeah, let me quickly add on to this. Like, sorry about that, guys. So to me, he is a world class player. He's someone that he has a vision, and he sees the whole field. And like he said, he can create space. He has a lot of talent, and he can play deep also. So to me, he's a player that should have been playing with at some point with Busquets and Xavi or Iniesta. That's where he was supposed to go
the thing
at
is
some
that
point.
Barcelona tried, but PSG is not a selling team. They will not sell anybody.
Oh no, yeah. And I
So,
think at that time, if he did went to Barcelona, he would have been recognized as like one of the top five midfield in those years. And I think
I mean, he still has time. Like, how old is he? Like 25, 26?
Yeah.
around that age, but
But
he's locked. He ain't going nowhere.
that's the thing with PSG though. Like, they don't sell anybody. You know, I mean, if you're trying to leave, like you just have to run down your contract or find another way. But they don't sell anybody. Like the only players that they sell, like those are the bench players, like players that they don't need, because like they don't have any financial problem. What they want, they just want to be arrogant. So they know that FFP was a rule that was actually created to fight against them. So they don't care. Like it's a team that's running by a whole country. So they don't really care. But to go back to the main point, which is Verratti, I think he is world class. I mean, I'm not going to say that he is elite, but he is world class. Because like when we're talking about the world class players, like we have like a few, like we have about 30 to 40 world class players in the world. But can we say that? Can we put a guy like Cristiano in the same conversation as a guy like let's say Icardi. No, they are both world class, but it's levels to this. So I think Verratti is world class. I don't think he's elite. I don't even think like he's better like a guy like Thiago. But
which Thiago?
Thiago in Bayern.
Right.
Okay. Alcantara.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think this is what happened. Like staying in that French league, always being injured. That's unfortunate. You're not progressing. Like
No,
if you watch the leagues, if you watch a couple games now, he's not even important to the team this year that much. Like everything goes by Neymar, Mbappe, and then Icardi.
Yeah, it's the system. He's been struggling like, because now PSG trying to accommodate to the top 4 guys, like the 4 strikers.
Yeah.
So now they're playing a 2-man midfield, and Verratti is not suited for that.
Well,
and to add to that, and then now like he cannot last more than 60 minutes on the field. So, like after the 60th minute, like he's done.
Probably partying and stuff.
It's his smoking. Like they talk a lot about that. Like he smokes a lot. Cigarettes, like he smokes a lot.
See, there's no pressure.
Peak, you're bringing up a whole bunch of things about this man, and you're still calling him world class.
No, world class means you're pure talent. World class means you're pure talent. But if he doesn't have the discipline, that's when.
Just say he's talented.
He performs weeks in and weeks out. Like so, if you don't call Verratti world class, then who is world class?
Neymar.
For example, to me, a world-class player De Bruyne is a world-class player. Isco is a world-class player.
Isco world-class to you?
Absolutely, to me, he is.
Why do you think so?
He's pure talent.
Yeah, but
that's just pure talent.
Then, based on that logic, then Coutinho is world-class too, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
How is Coutinho world-class when he has never been performing well for a season?
Because I was actually talking about this topic to a couple of friends the other day. The system is not helping Coutinho since he left the Liverpool. When he came to Barcelona, system failed. When he came to Bayern for him, the reason why they haven't kept James Rodriguez and Coutinho to me is because these guys, when you put them in the midfield, they don't defend.
But that's the thing. Let me tell you something. You know why you guys are wrong? Like I'll say, like there's a difference between world-class talent and a world-class player. Coutinho is a world-class talent. Isco is a world-class talent, but are they world-class players? Like, you can make a case for Isco. Coutinho, you cannot. I'll tell you why. We're not even talking about him. To be world-class, you need at least 2 seasons of consistency. Coutinho has never had a world-class season. He's had moments. He's had like a few good games, but Coutinho to me is like Zidane. Like when Zidane was Zidane, he come out, he plays a great game, and then the next 4 or 5 games, like he disappeared.
I'll be interested to debate this with you another time.
The fifth game, like he scored like a world-class goal, like golazo, like from 35, 40 yards out. People crazy about it, and then he disappears again for the next 10 games. To me, a guy like that is not world-class. He goes to Barcelona in the world-class team, world-class players, world-class talents. He struggled. And he went out and he said that, you know what, I cannot play midfield because it's too crowded for me. I have to learn it. Fine. They sent him out on loan. He went to Bayern. He is a bench player, pretty much.
Goretzka benching you.
He scored like 7 goals. Like, you know, like in the 7 goals that Coutinho scored at Bayern, like they all came against bottom teams.
Yeah.
So you cannot call a guy like that a world class. He is a world class talent. Like, don't get me wrong. Like that's why like I want him in my team, because at any given moment he can change a game. He can give you a win like easily. But you have to do like every Saturday.
Yeah. Like, in the consistency wise, you're right. He has not been consistent at all. Even for Brazil nowadays, he's not consistent.
Like not even for Liverpool. Like he's never done it.
Consistency in Liverpool?
Yeah,
you don't think so?
I gotta disagree there too.
At any point, at any given moment of his life, like he's never been the best player there. Like never.
Inside the team.
Inside the team, like he's never been the best performer at Liverpool.
I'm gonna have to
What are
study
we
that.
doing?
I'm gonna have to watch a couple clips too
You
before
know,
I say something.
again, like you know what his best moment was. I
Mhm.
think it was like the year before he went to Barcelona. Like from
Yeah.
September to December, that was like his best 3 or 4 month stretch in his life.
Yeah, but he was the most
After that,
important
he got
player
injured.
in that team.
Huh?
He wasn't the most important player in that team in that time.
He was one of them. But guess what? Who was the best player in that team? That was Sadio Mane. Next year it was Salah. So and before that it was Suarez. Like he's never been Liverpool best player.
And Mike doesn't agree with that.
That's the thing. You see, Mike is a prisoner of the moment. So he watches the highlights and he see like a beautiful curling shot, and that's all it is. But if you analyze the game,
Barcelona bought the man for $110 million. Like, how was he not the best player on his team?
I mean,
they do this all the time. Like Barcelona is known for that.
Oh man! All right, Pico, we're gonna bring you back on to talk about this.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you up for that one.
I mean, anytime you want, guys.
Marco Verratti's current value right now is 66 million. Just put it out there. So before we close, we're just gonna ask you like a quick, like a 60-second on how you think. Mike, I know I cannot pronounce his name, so you're gonna have to pronounce his name for him. This is a total different.
Pjanic.
There you go.
Yeah,
so him, huh? I'd be saying Pjanic. So there was like a rumor that they have an agreement with him to come in Barcelona. Just to remind everyone that he plays for Juventus now, but he has like an agreement, I think, to go to Barcelona, but it hasn't go through yet. If he does go in Barcelona, who do you think, if they don't sell Busquets, Rakitic, or Artur Melo, who do you think is who's gonna be the more affected about him coming into the?
Actually, that my answer might surprise you. First of all, like Busquets, like he's not going anywhere. Like they will not sell him. Like as long as he's alive, like he's going to start. I mean, that's the whole Barcelona system right there. So you cannot sell your system. And Rakitic, I think they've been trying to sell him, and we have no footage for him, and the price is too much because he is done. Like he used to be world class, but now like he's done. He's done.
He's like 47 years old.
Exactly.
No, he's not.
I think the problem with Arthur is that I think he will be fine. But a lot of people overrate Arthur. Like he has a lot of potentials, but what he brings to the team, a lot of other players can bring that to the team too, because he is what we call like he is pressure resistant. So you cannot take the ball away from him. Like he's good at keeping the ball. Like he passes the ball really well, but he doesn't take risks, and he doesn't. Like his productivity level is very low. Like it's really low, because we have a guy who's not even going to chip in for like 7 goals plus assists. And when I'm talking about 7 goals plus assists, I'm talking about like 2 goals or 5 assists in the season, or like 3 and 4, or 25 or 6 and 1. Like he is not that type of player. So I understand like why Barcelona want a player like Pjanic, because he's going to bring more to the team. But I think the players that will suffer the most are probably going to be like Carlos Alenia and Ricky Puig.
I knew it. I knew it because I said that.
Carlos Alenia and who?
And Ricky Puig, like the young players, like the young kid from La Masia.
Yo, trust me. In the next 2 years, these guys are out of here. They're not gonna be for Barcelona anymore. Carlos Alenia is the pure talent, and out of the two, but he is there in the wrong time, and nobody. I don't think that.
But you know what?
You're gonna come in and just be in the bench for the next 2-3 years.
I think they sell him. I think they sent him on loan at the wrong time, because the moment that Setien got there, like pretty much like all the players got injured.
And the system changed too.
And the system changed. So the system was going to suit him better. He went to he is balling at base, but if you bring in a guy like Pjanic, like how do you play him? How do you fit him in the team?
But the other thing is Pjanic. I see Pjanic as more of a short-term solution. He's 30 years old at the end of the day, so.
But
he's a short-term. He's not gonna be for the future. He's probably gonna be like in the next 2-3 years. Depends.
That's ridiculous. We have a guy like Alenia. He is like 22. Ricky Puig is 20. So why
You
don't
gotta change your board, bro.
Why don't you find a way to actually bring them into the team? Like do it gradually, you know.
You gotta change the board.
I mean, that's my main problem with Barcelona right there, because this board, they are clueless. Like everything that Barcelona stands for, like they do the exact opposite of that. So like I don't understand how you bring a guy like Pjanic or even the Siglio, who is a scrub,
and you send Semedo away. Semedo, who actually is having a decent season at that right back position.
That's the 10, yeah. That's the 10, yes, definitely. But I just don't understand. I just don't understand like how they do business. I don't understand what are they doing. It's probably like a financial move, to be honest.
Probably.
But I think the Barcelona board and the Manchester United board be getting on a call and just exchange notes every weekend.
United is worse. Imagine if United is a team. They don't even have a sporting director.
Yeah.
Mike, this is your answer. The answer you was asking me the other day. You asking me who was it, and I told you I think the last person was probably Jose Mourinho. I'm not sure for this year.
Nah, even Mourinho was not even one. Like we have a guy.
He had influence on who he wanted though.
Yeah, he wanted that role, but he was never given it. We have a guy who has like a master's in finance running the team.
Woodward?
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about football, but everything he does has to do with money. But like, how can you actually run a team when you have no knowledge of what you're doing?
Yeah, man, it's pretty sad, but you know, it is what it is.
Suffering, but it is what it is, man. My team, like we are mediocre, and I'm tired of that. Even football, American football, soccer, like I'm struggling.
Yeah, and NBA, we've been struggling forever, man, since 06.
Yo, Richie, you know what I was doing yesterday, and then my little brother actually started laughing at me.
Yeah.
I sat there and I watched. It was from 2011, the New York Knicks versus the Miami Heat at the Garden.
Okay, yeah.
And the first one, when Gallo and Landry feels like those guys went nuts.
But they lost. They still probably still lost.
They won that game. It was like the first year of Stoudemire and Wayman Felton.
Oh, okay, that time.
It's been that long, man, since that team made me smile.
I know, right? And you know what's with the Knicks too? The Knicks, when you watch the Knicks, I always tell people about the Knicks fan. This is why we watch the Knicks still. This is what you're gonna get about the Knicks. You're gonna get a great comeback, excitement. Fourth quarter, it goes down the hill. And every time it happens,
heartbreak.
And like Schmidt said, this is the last time that we had like a decent team. Like when Stoudemire was putting 30 points in a stretch. I don't know how many.
He had like 12. I think he had like 12 games or more than that.
Mike, man, don't ever get in there.
I remember that. I remember those years.
I was telling my brother like, yo, we should have never made that trade because like that team was good. Yeah, and Melo was actually on his last 3-4 months. We gave too much. We gave away too much for him.
Yeah.
They blew up the core for Melo.
Like yo, Felton and Stoudemire had a good pick and roll understanding. We had Landry Fields, like Chandler, like all those guys were fun. And we were like the fourth spot in the East, and then we blew it up for Melo, and then Melo was like, Melo doesn't care like if he's losing or winning, like as long as he got
in his 30s. 30 points.
He gets 30 piece, like he's happy about it.
Yeah. Well, all right. Peak. Thank you. I keep saying Pick. Schmidt.
I mean, people barely call me Schmidt.
Yeah. Peak, thank you so much for joining us, man. Thank you for giving us some time. It'd be fun to have you on again because you got some very controversial takes in my opinion.
I like to call it, like I'm Skip Bayless in these things, man.
Oh, word.
Like I'll tell you the truth with stats behind it, but anytime, man, like we can discuss the world class debate like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's something that we have to discuss because I see too many people calling too many players world class. And
got you.
Man.
We're gonna do that.
The Bourne is a world class player and then call Coutinho as a world class player. Like I'm mad.
We're gonna definitely get into that.
All right. Rich, man. Any more thoughts?
Nah, that's about it.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in as always, man. Peace.
All right. Thank you, guys. Peace.
Guys.